Over 55 Canadians are currently locked up in U.S. ICE detention centers right now. These are mostly people who went to renew visas, visit family, or finalize paperwork, not criminals.
Just last month, Cynthia Oliveira from Mississauga was lured to a citizenship interview in Los Angeles. Instead of an approval stamp, she got handcuffs, no due process, and a one-way trip to an ICE cell in Texas.
And this is all funded by what they're proudly calling the Big Beautiful Bill, which has turned ICE into one of the most heavily funded parts of the US government. Because apparently, locking up yoga teachers is now a national security priority.
I'm sure you've heard of Alligator Alcatraz. It's an outright humanitarian disgrace.
And let's be honest, the US is on fire, politically, literally, and morally. Safety alerts are rising, and a Canadian has now died in US custody. We just can't support that.
And that is exactly why we decided to go somewhere different this year. We traded all of that anxiety for an adventure in Canada. Welcome to Quebec, where croissants are flakier than US foreign policy, and the only ice you'll find is in your apparel spritz.
Quebec City isn't just the most beautiful city in Canada, it's basically Europe in a toque. Walled fortifications, French architecture, and centuries of drama, all without a transatlantic flight or a meltdown at customs.
And we're going to show you how to spend 2 unforgettable days in Quebec City, then whisk you away to Charlevoix, where nature shows off and you finally get that deep breath your soul has been craving.
Croissants, castles, cheese that will make you weep, and not a gator prison in sight.
Start your Quebec itinerary in Quebec City, where you'll walk the only walled city north of Mexico. Quebec City is a UNESCO World Heritage Site where even the cannons are polite.
This is Old Quebec, where cobblestone streets lead to castles, cafes, and more charm than a Netflix rom-com set in Paris.
Make sure to walk down the staircase to Petit Champlain, one of the oldest shopping districts in all of North America. Then, when you're down there, hop on a St. Lawrence River cruise.
And make sure to find the postcard-perfect spot for a view of the Chateau Frontenac with the Alley of Umbrellas at the cul-de-sac in the Quartier Petit Champlain. A day can be spent touring the Citadel with its 400-year-old ramparts. Make sure to stop for a glass of wine, ice cream, or coffee at one of the many cafes and get lost shopping in the endless boutiques.
And make sure to see Place Royale to see Notre Dame des Victoires, or Our Lady of Victory's Church. And you may recognize it because it was made famous by Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie Catch Me If You Can.
Then you can take the funicular up to the Fairmont Chateau Frontenac. You can actually take a tour of the Frontenac if you aren't staying there, or simply walk the promenade for views of the iconic hotel and the St. Lawrence River. Now, we also did a food and history tour, basically an excuse to eat your way through flaky pastries, creamy local cheese, and stories that don't involve overthrowing democracy.
We based ourselves at the Hilton Quebec. It's walkable to everything with stunning views. And big bonus here, no car needed, no hassle to explore.
And when the sun sets, head to Rue Saint-Jean. Bars, music, and a nightlife scene that has more vibes than Vegas, and the kind of French-Canadian charm that doesn't come with a side of gunfire.
For meals, fuel up at local gems like La Bouche, La Bouchette, L'Atelier, and Le Clan, where French-Canadian cuisine gets a modern twist and your taste buds will never want to leave.
Finish it off with a stroll on the Plains of Abraham. You get epic views, a whole lot of history, and zero chance of being tear-gassed for sitting on the grass.
If you want history, architecture, and actual functioning democracy, Quebec's got it all.
Quebec City has everything you'd fly across the Atlantic for, except jet lag, overpriced airfare, and the existential dread of landing in the US.
You get all the European feels without the Euro price tag or the pickpockets. Then rent a car and head a couple of hours from Quebec City to Charlevoix. This is where the mountains kiss the river and your stress levels finally shut up.
We kick things off in Baie Saint Paul, which is basically an art gallery disguised as a town. You can gallery hop, sip cider, and pretend you understand abstract expressionism.
Lunch at Le Saint Pub? Yes, please. Regional fare, homebrew beer, and exactly 0 pretentious hipsters in sight.
Then we went to Hydromel Charlevoix, where they turn honey into wine. And suddenly, we found ourselves buying a bottle we swore we didn't really need.
But luckily, there's no duty. Next stop, Club Med Québec-Charlevoix. And no, you don't need a passport or a yacht membership, just a sense of adventure and stretchy pants for that delicious buffet.
This was our first time at Club Med in Canada, and let me tell you, it delivered. All-inclusive, yes, but with an eco-conscious twist. When they built this place, they cut down only 10% of the trees, which in resort math is basically a miracle. And yes, we did overdo it at the buffet, like Deb said.
But we woke up to panoramic views over the St. Lawrence, and in the mornings, we had our choice of yoga, meditation, or even cardio classes, all with the river sparkling in the background from our mountaintop view.
We then rode the Le Massif gondola, and it might just be the most underrated ride in Quebec. You glide straight up the mountain with St. Lawrence River stretching out like a postcard below you.
It's the kind of view that makes you reevaluate your life choices. Like, maybe we should have opened that cheese shop in the Alps, Dave.
Now, you could also go downhill mountain biking, hiking, and it's all included in your Club Med package. And in the winter, lift tickets are included along with ski lockers and the best ski-in, ski-out location on the mountain.
At the top, you have 20 kilometers of scenic hiking trails. All of them come with jaw-dropping views and the freshest air your lungs have inhaled since probably birth.
And then there was lunch at Camp Boulet, rustic, elevated, and the St. Lawrence crashing in the background.
Next stop, Le Germain Charlevoix Hotel and Spa. Imagine if a farmhouse and a design magazine had a baby. That's the place. You're surrounded by gardens, cows, chickens, and architecture that makes you question your entire home decor strategy.
This is the kind of hotel where you instantly feel cooler and somehow more hydrated even before hitting the spa.
But we did dive into their spa, the Nordic Spa Circuit. Hot, cold, rest, repeat. Think Finnish spa, eucalyptus steam bath, and icy plunges that make you scream like you're in a horror movie, but in a good way.
We wrapped up the day at Le Berkel, where the food is so local, you half expect to meet the farmer over dessert. Just think fresh from the garden salads, Charlevoix cheeses, and wood-fired everything.
It was the perfect end to a day of hiking, soaking, and confronting those cold plunge fears head on.
Next, we checked into the legendary Fairmont Le Manoir Richelieu.
This isn't just a hotel, it's a slice of Canadian history perched above the St. Lawrence, where grand riverboats used to anchor and unload passengers straight into luxury.
Inside, it feels like an old-world cigar club meets a royal ski chalet. There's leather armchairs, deep carpets, and a whisper of cigar smoke in your imagination.
Outside, you've got another Scandinavian dream. There's a sauna, hot tubs with river views, and there's an indoor and outdoor pool. You can just soak under the stars or inside.
Wandering the hallways feels like stepping back in time. You can almost hear the echoes of old voyageurs and 1920s socialites arguing about the best cheese plate.
We capped it off at Le Saint Laurent, the Fairmont's flagship restaurant. Everything on the plate is locally sourced within 50 kilometers, and it tastes like the region. Bold, fresh, and a little bit wild.
The rooms overlook the St. Lawrence River, and we slept peacefully in our classic suite getting ready for the day ahead.
Yep, we needed our rest because after all that spa serenity, we decided to turn the adrenaline back on for a whale-watching zodiac tour with Croisière AML.
They suit you up in these bright orange survival suits. You'll look like a giant carrot, but hey, you'll be warm. So who cares, right?
We had a beautiful, smooth day where we saw beluga whales, minke whales, and what we think might have been a humpback whale in the distance, or maybe it was just Dave's long-lost cousin, Brian, doing some laps.
Then after whale watching, we made our way back to the Fairmont, where we took the leap off its roof and soared through the air at 50 kilometers per hour with views of the historic landmark and the river. And if you want to continue, there's even a Via Ferrata right on the hotel grounds.
This hotel has it all. There's a waterfront trail, there's golfing, horseback riding. It's a nature lover's dream in pure luxury.
Now, if you're thinking, wow, this all sounds amazing, but what's the damage to my wallet? Well, don't worry, we got you. Here's where your loonies are flying. Flights and car rental. About $1,700 Canadian total. Accommodation, around $4,100 Canadian, and that includes a splurge at the Club Med Charlevoix for 2 nights. Roughly 2,000 Canadian of that.
Food and drinks, it's good to budget around 1,500 Canadian.
Then activities like whale watching, spa days, gondola rides, and that Fairmont rooftop zipline cost around $1,500 Canadian total. And toss in a bit for other stuff like souvenirs, local cider you didn't think you'd buy, emergency stretchy pants, about 650 Canadian.
So you're looking at a grand total of about 9,800 Canadian. But if you drive, you can take off almost $2,000 right off the top. And if you're not getting any souvenirs or cider, you can save $650 just like that. It's a week of pure magic and adventure, and it's probably still cheaper than a trip to Florida these days.
And if you really want to tweak it, you could swap out one luxury night, shorten Club Med to 1 night, or stay in a more budget-friendly place in Quebec City. But we say, go big at least once. Your mental health and your Instagram will thank you.
All the detailed breakdowns are in the description below, and we have links to the hotels so you can plan your getaway.
And as far as accessibility goes, Quebec City is surprisingly accessible for an old city. Many sidewalks are wide, there are ramps, and key spots like the funicular and the Hilton are wheelchair friendly. The Citadel and some old staircases, they can be tricky, but overall it's more doable than you'd actually expect.
Club Med Charlevoix offers accessible rooms and elevators, plus the Le Massif gondola is fully accessible. This wasn't just a trip, it was a love letter to Quebec, from old world charm in the city to the wild luxury of Charlevoix. It's the reset that we all need right now, let's face it.
And it's clear, we're not the only ones feeling this way. In fact, according to Stats Canada, overall, Canadian visits to the US have plunged more than 30%, costing American tourism over $9 billion this year alone.
And airlines are rerouting to Eastern Canada, so book your trip right away. Quebec is waiting with open arms, warm cheese, and absolutely no moral crisis at customs.
Quebec City for culture, Charlevoix for clarity, and Canada, well, because we still believe in science, healthcare, and keeping belugas wild.
And if you love this adventure, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps more travelers and escape artists find us.
And hey, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a trip, a rant, or a random cheese-fueled epiphany from me.
Want to support us even more? Check out our merch store. We've got shirts, hats, and gear that let you wear your love for travel and Canada on your sleeve.
Or join our channel and become part of the A-Team, our new members-only crew that gets exclusive behind-the-scenes content, extra rants, and secret travel tips.
So pack your curiosity, your sense of humor, and maybe a stretchy waistband because the world, especially Quebec, is waiting.